How to do your best on the MCA 3 math test. First, we need to understand why you're taking it. The state and federal government use the information to see if you're making adequate yearly progress. Hidden Oaks uses the information to improve classroom teaching and learning. Your performance is an indicator of how well you'll do on the grad test. You need to pass the grad test to graduate. You next need to take the test seriously. Athletes use visualization and positive self-talk to improve their performance. You can use it to influence your performance too. Picture yourself being successful. Very quickly in your head, say to yourself, "I will do my best" before each problem. Consider the MCA test a serious game with the goal of getting as many points correct as you can. Here are some general tips. Come to the test rested, prepared, and confident. Do all the work on scratch paper. Don't do it all in your head. You get extra credit, yep, I said it, you get extra credit for showing work on at least 24 problems. Use the toolbar to highlight and eliminate answers. Read each question and think about what it's asking. Ignore other test takers. Often the people who finish tests first get lower grades. Don't feel that taking your time indicates lack of intelligence. Another tip for you would be to wear the headphones on your head and not even necessarily use the audio, but use it to drown out outside noise so you're just focused in on your test. Some more general tips. Draw pictures, sketches that can help you visualize the problem. When you finish each section, go back and recheck your questions and answers. Only change an answer if you are absolutely sure that the changed answer is more likely the correct one. Use the review key to mark questions you want to come back to at the end of each section. Multiple choice. Watch out for trap answers. The test makers try to put down answers that are a result of common mistakes made by students. Do not fall for those traps. Perhaps solve the problem first and then carefully choose what you believe is the very best answer. Narrow down your choices to 2 solutions if you don't know the answer for sure. You can usually eliminate 2 of the choices right away. When in doubt, make an educated guess. Don't leave answers blank. If you 100% know the answer, click that answer. If you can eliminate answers, do so by crossing out the A, B, C, or D that you know are wrong with the elimination tool. If you absolutely have no idea of how to do a particular problem, this should be very rare, click the choice of your best educated guess. Read the problem first, reread, highlight and circle important information. Know what the question is asking for. Look at the possible answers, then start to solve the problem. Some other hints for you would be to look at your answer bank first. Sometimes you can go backwards and insert answers into the question, kind of checking your work to see if they work. You can also check to see if your answers make sense, if they're reasonable. But working backwards would be a good tool for you to use if you're stuck on a problem. If your mind is blocked by tension during the test, close your eyes. Take a long, deep breath and let it out slowly. Concentrate on your breathing. Actually feel or hear yourself breathe. Don't allow yourself to worry about the time, test, or tension. Repeat once, then return to the test. You are allowed to have as much time as you need on the MCA test, so don't feel rushed. Take all the time that you need. Some more MCA math helpful tips. Calculator use and formula sheet help. Here's some help with the computer calculator. You'll see the computer calculator over here to the right. Can you put a negative number in? When you're inserting a negative number, you're going to want to be very careful to use your parentheses like you see here in problems where you're multiplying and when you have your exponents. If you're just going to do -5 minus 8, you can use the negative symbol. What you're going to need to do is look over here at the right hand side. You'll see the negative symbol is right there. It's the one that has the plus or minus. this one right here is the one that's going to allow you to put in a negative number. Now if you took -5 minus 8, you could go ahead and use the plus or minus button. Now what we need to be careful of is when we do negative numbers that have exponents or multiplication. If you look at the next problem, -4 squared, your calculator, if you don't put the negative in parentheses, reads that as the opposite of 4 squared. So in this case, it's very important that you use your parenthesis keys. Just like you see here, you're going to want to do parenthesis, -4 parenthesis, and then do your exponent. The way that you would enter an exponent into this calculator is by using the caret symbol right here. The caret symbol allows you to put in an exponent. Now the x caret y lets you put in any exponent. If you did this one, x caret 2, that will square a number for you. So there's two options. One works with squaring a number and one works with any type of exponent. So remember, use the plus or minus sign with the black arrow there for negative numbers. Make sure to use your parentheses, and then your caret key is the x caret y or the x caret 2. That's going to give you the exponents. Okay, so that covers squaring a number, raising a number to a power, and your negative numbers. Now, can you multiply, divide, add, subtract? All of those functions are right over here. You've got divide, multiply, you have your square root symbol. Subtraction, don't get the subtraction key mixed up with the negative sign. That's subtraction, your negative sign's below it, and then you have addition and you have your equal sign. If you're going to do a decimal, this calculator does not do fractions. So you're going to want to remember that a fraction is the same thing as a division problem. So if you had the fraction 2/7, that is 2 divided by 7. And your division sign is right up here. So you want to be aware of that. Let's see, what else do you need on your calculator? Scientific notation. Remember, if a number is in scientific notation, you typically might see something like this. 5.34 and then E and then 5. That tells you that it's 5.34, like this, 5.34 times 10 to the 5th. This E stands for exponent, and what that would tell us to do is to move our decimal over 5 places since it's positive and to the right. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'd add zeros. When you see that, the exponent, the E, that's because it's a very large number, and it's going to have you move your decimal. If it's positive, you're going to move your decimal over to the right. If it's negative, you would move it to the left. Couple other things, you have your decimal sign is right there, and then you have your equal sign. We've got that. I think that's it for here. Now, one other thing to take note of is you do have the button right here for graphing. If you want to graph a line, you can hit that key and it will graph a linear equation. So for instance, you could put an equation in slope-intercept form, plug it in, hit graph, and you can see what your line looks like. Next time when we practice MCAs, I will show you how to use the graphing part on the calculator. So right now we're in the scientific part of the calculator. I'll show you what the graphing part looks like. Okay, here we have our formula sheet. And you guys should all be very familiar with the formula sheet because we have used it all school year. It's the same thing that we've been using on our test. It's hanging up in our room. This formula sheet will be given to you in a paper form, paper copy to have by your computer, and then you'll also be able to pull it up on your MCA test. Remember, on here you have your Pythagorean theorem. That's used for right triangles. You have your distance formula, which lets you find the distance between 2 points on a coordinate plane. You have your formula to find the slope of a line, your formula for slope-intercept form, point-slope form, and standard form, and then you have your arithmetic and geometric sequences. Remember, arithmetic sequences, those are in slope-intercept form. Remember, f of x is the same thing as it equaling y. Those are your sequences in which you add either a positive number or a negative number. Geometric sequence, that's where we're multiplying. It's an exponential function, so it's going up fast or going down fast. And again, f of x is the same thing as equaling y. Don't forget about PEMDAS when you're taking your MCAs. Remember, PEMDAS is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. We need to remember, though, that the P, even though we say parentheses, it really stands for grouping symbols. So we're really talking parentheses, we're talking brackets, we're talking the fraction bar. All of those count for grouping symbols. So we're going to want to make sure that we take care of all of those first. Then we would go on to our exponents. And then you have multiplication and division. Even though multiply comes before divide, remember we have to follow the left to right rule. And the same thing for addition and subtraction. You don't always add before you subtract. It depends on the order in which those appear in your problem. We too want to do left to right when we're doing adding and subtracting. If you look at the problem here, you have 7 plus 12 minus 3 in parentheses divided by 2 times 2. When you look at this problem, we would want to do parentheses first. So we would take 12 minus 3, which is 9, so you'd have 7 plus 9 divided by 2 times 2. Okay, when we look at this, we have addition, division, and multiplication. Because we have division and multiplication together, we want to follow the left to right rule. So we would divide first. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. So you'd have 7 plus 4.5 times 2. So then we'd multiply, and 4.5 times 2 is 9, and then you would take 7 plus 9, which equals 16. Now the greatest thing that you can do for yourself on this MCA test is to believe in yourself. Positive self-talk, pump yourself up, think that you can do it, know that you can do it. The greatest barrier to success is the fear of failure. You guys can do it. A lot of you were so close to your goal score on the OLPA test, or you exceeded it. I believe that all of you can pass this test and you can reach your goals. So believe in yourself, take it seriously, you can do it.